years.
That's the way I felt like with Assassin's Creed Shadows. Like, I actually finally got to play the game. I was like, it was bittersweet because I had farmed content about that game for years, or actually probably about a year at that point. And now that the game is out, it's like, you know that like this is the climax, right? It's like in Elden Ring when you know you're about to walk in, like you're in front of the golden tree, and it's like, fuck, it's game. Shit, bro.
I'm sorry your life is so hard. That sucks. Yeah, that really sucks. You know, 9/11 for dudes who don't know what soap is. Bombed, and the anti-woke won. And it's now official. We are living in a time where finally grown men are posting, I walked out of Snow White. Geeks and gamers. The emasculation ritual. A man you see before you, trapped inside a nightmare of his own design. You're doing this to yourself. Why? Why did you give them money? Why did you give Disney your money? Why did you give Disney your money only to rage quit, get into your car, and then turn on a video camera and record about how you effectively are cucking them? It is not me that is cucked, I tell you. I cucked them. It was a reverse cuckle.
What's going on, everyone? Car video, and we're gonna talk about Disney's live-action Snow White. I just walked out of it because it was that bad, and I'm not making that up. Absolutely horrendous in every way possible. And let me preface this, because I know there's gonna be people that are watching this that are gonna say, "Oh, he knew he was gonna hate it." I went and saw.
No. I'm wondering why you couldn't just wait until you got home. How far do you live from the theater? It's more the thing I'd be worried about. I'd be like, honestly, okay, fine. You walked out, badass, cool. And then after going by yourself to a children's movie, and then walking out of the children's movie in protest, after handing Disney your cash, you're on your way home. But this couldn't wait. You had to let the world know immediately.
Thinking I was going to hate Wicked, and Wicked turned out to be an absolutely fantastic movie. I thought it was great. So
wait, what? Oh, sorry, that was a twist I was not expecting. Didn't know my guy loved Wicked. All right.
The same level of expectation for Wicked, and I walked away thinking that was a fantastic movie, because it was. Now, in terms of Disney's live-action Snow White, there's only one good thing I can say about it, and that's that Rachel Zegler can sing. Okay, great. She can sing. Congratulations to her. Everything else about this movie was bad. And it's not necessarily because of Rachel Zegler, although she added so much.
I'm very confused. Okay. I happen to be a grown man myself, and I do not have a single inclination or desire to see a live action Disney remake of Snow White. Let alone produce multiple videos on it. If you go to this guy's channel, and I know that he's just trying to basically lampshade or get ahead of any criticism by saying, oh, no, this isn't because I'm trying to get into the whole, we're angry because she's not white enough discourse or stuff like that. But why are there so many videos like disaster, destroys Snow White, $300 million loss, Disney mad at Rachel Zegler, everyone hates Rachel Zegler? Why are you doing this to yourselves? See, like, I assume the movie's shit. And that's not even because, obviously there's like, the pro-Israel propagandist Gal Gadot, who happens to be in it, who just, has no business being in film. But, there's that. Also, the remakes, generally, the live-action remakes in the modern era by Disney are just trash. So there's that as well. And I don't think this is supposed to appeal to me. Again, as a grown-ass man, I don't understand if Disney was particularly marketing Snow White, the children's fantasy, for people to go to. Like, if you want to take your kids, I would understand that. Or if you happen to be younger and you want to experience, the majesty of watching Snow White once again reimagined on the silver screen, I imagine that too. It's why the new Snow White film, because it was MAGA whined and bitch. No, I think a combination of things. One, it's most likely garbage, because most of the live action remakes are garbage. Two, obviously, this entire strategy that all these major studios are using is not sustainable, and it's crashing and burning in real time right now. And obviously, it's something that's consistently being blamed on wokeness, but it's like, you can't keep doing this thing where movies cost nearly $500 million. They need to make international box office of twice that to include the amount of money that it was used to market them, and then continue to expect that to be sustainable by simply banking on known properties, Marvel films, Disney films, Star Wars films, and just doing this on a loop. Like eventually people are both getting burnout and also just don't have interest. Snow White failed. We did it. Was this filmed the same day, or this is? It's hard to tell. That seems like a blue shirt. This seems like a black shirt.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another car video, and today we're going to do a follow-up on the Snow White disaster. Now, I did a car video after I walked out of the theater for Snow White, and that caused quite the reaction, and I love every single second of it. Views are up, revenue is up, algorithm is up, complaints are up. The car video is back, baby. The amount of things that were said during that video were fantastic. And,
do I need to change lanes? No, sorry, I need to keep complaining about the children's movie that I walked out of and how amazing it is. Yeah, I mean, this is that genre of shitting yourself in public and then being shocked that people happen to be like disgusted by you. And it's like, yeah, I don't care. The same thing was done by that heels versus babyface dude, the pronouns guy. Pronouns. And then when like the entire internet collectively like ripped into him, he was just like trying to be like, hey, great for business. Yeah, tons of people are coming to watch my stuff. They're agreeing with me. I'm making money. Yeah, fucking suck it. You know, this is not embarrassing in any way, shape, or form. And I guess it's the same thing for this.
I'll address some of them as we get further into this video, but the first thing we're going to do is start out talking about Snow White being a disaster. It opened up worldwide at $87 million worldwide. That is a complete and total disaster on every single possible level. That's what you need to understand with this movie. This is a monumental failure for Disney. Now, there's a lot of people that are crying, going, Jeremy, but you went to see the movie. Yeah, I've been covering this for 2 years, and the same people crying about the fact that I went to see it so I could cover it are the same people telling me I shouldn't have been talking about it at all because it was a children's movie. Everyone that focused on this movie for the last couple of years, you are responsible for this failure that Disney is experiencing right now.
I don't care. I just think it's funny to laugh at you. Honestly, if Disney fucking economically collapses as a result of this or a couple other movies, awesome. Disney sucks. Like, who's on the other side of this? No, how could you?
This stuff cannot go unchecked. They have to be held accountable, and I am so happy that this is playing.
Accountable for what? I don't get how they wronged you. Like, again, it's one of those things where, like, I understand, you know, the centerpiece of a lot of the original outrage over Snow White, especially coming from the right, you know, what is it, Daily Wire and Ben Shapiro went as far as needing to make their own remake with Brett Cooper, which eventually just got trashed because Brett Cooper ended up leaving the network. So a lot of that was centered around the fact that they believed that Snow White wasn't white. You know, the actor playing Snow White was apparently not white enough, and so they were like, look, we're completely against the fact that, you know, you've taken so many of our cherished childhood memories, whether that be Little Mermaids or be other mythical creatures, and then you have to do this thing where you make them other ethnicities. I don't know why we need a black mermaid. I don't know why we need like a Latina dwarf in Lord of the Rings or all this kind of shit, and it's like, I don't know why you care so much about this. Like, I don't know why this is an issue that is like, again, unless like this is a cherished childhood property, one of your favorites. You just adore every version of Snow White that's ever been made, produced, and come out. Or is this once again part of this whole fucking weird ass, they're not catering to my specific needs all the time. And that to me, I think is oppression. It's like, you can say that it's about you hate forced diversity and you hate forced wokeness, which is how they try to market themselves. But it's 100%. It's the same thing with Stellar Blade. Like, with the Stellar Blade controversy, there was this big thing where everyone was like, I myself included, all of y'all just seem like really confused and aggressively horny men who just want to see digital titties and you want to get more titty skin on your alternative costumes. But really, and I think Sean did a great job of exploring this because he played through the entire game start to finish to review it properly. It's about that these people feel specifically, and the majority of them being, you know, straight, cis, white men, that all of media is not catered towards them specifically and their tastes. And they want all of media to return to being exclusively catered towards them, even though the majority of media is still catered towards their tastes. It's not as if it's gone from one to the other. It's gone from one to there are slightly more options now. One to there are slightly more video games where the protagonist might not be a white space marine, might not be a male detective or a male soldier. There's a couple more options. Sometimes other playable characters, sometimes DLC, sometimes characters are revealed to be bisexual or homosexual. Even in the case of like The Last of Us, but like it's like the vast majority of content is still catered towards people who happen to be cis and straight. That's the majority of it, and so there are slight alternative options now, and that's supposedly the same as systemic racism or actual oppression.
Exactly how it is. Looking at the camera, it sounds like a lot of beta males or females are basically crying, saying that that I'm being too dangerous. Absolutely pathetic. I am a better driver than you. That is a fact. And so I know what I'm doing. In fact, I'll give some driving tips during these car videos.
Hey, it's feminism. Beta females. Women, you're beta too now. You're soy. You're getting cucked. So there you go. We have equality. He's gone woke.
Outside of the fact that don't drive in the left lane, it's for pass so you can signal to the person behind you.
Oh my god, the majority of the bulk of this is about is driving.
Was for Snow White. This is opening worse than Dumbo. It's opened worse than any Disney live action movie. That is absolutely awesome. And so what we have to do now is see how bad this is going to be. This is going to be a pretty big wake-up call for Disney because Rachel Zegler is truly a liability. And they had no problem firing Gina Carano for saying nothing, by the way. They had no problem firing Gina Carano.
But why? I don't get why they hate her so much. Rachel Zegler controversy. Like, is it really just as simple as the fact that she's not 100% ethnically white? Disney's live. It could be a feminist angle as well. That's usually why they go after someone in perpetuity. In an interview with Variety, Zegler pointed out how her version of the classic fairy tale is different from the original as it focuses on themes like leadership and self-discovery. The modern version is contrary to the old version, which runs the age-old narrative of a damsel in distress who's waiting for a prince to save her. She explained from the outlet, "I just mean that it's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote Snow White that's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows that she can be, and the leader that her late father told her that she could be if she was fearless, fair, brave, and true. And so it's just an incredible story for young people everywhere to see themselves in." Which, again, would have been a statement that in any way, shape, or form, I'm like, how do you find that controversial? But I can see why, because they tried to do the same thing with the Super Mario movie. They originally said the Super Mario movie was the wokest film of the year. It's going to bomb horrifically because they turned the character of Peach into a girl boss based on them seeing the trailer only. And then the movie came out and, it was just like a smashingly huge, I think the first or the second highest grossing film that came out that year. And then they obviously had to walk it all back in 180 and be like, we love this movie because it's a classic film that actually gave the fans what they wanted. They wanted just to have a movie that's not preachy, that's not woke, that doesn't have messages in it. And then like anything else, you could point out, well, I mean, there was a character who performs drag. So, I mean, are you saying the show was not woke even though it featured a drag performance? I mean, it did have a girl boss at the end of the day, but I guess that was not enough for you to hate it. The comments of the original version of Snow White went viral, where she described the classic tale as outdated. She went ahead to call the prince in the story a guy who literally stalks her. Zegler told the media outlet the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on the love story with the guy who literally stalks her. Weird. So we didn't do it at the time. It's my inner journey, and it goes far to find a true self and meets... Okay, so once again, we're getting down to misogyny. Weird men on the internet don't like the idea of someone being like, we should have reimagined a classic fairy tale, and we should maybe try something new. How dare you?
People are not happy about Snow White. Now, why they not like Snow White? I honestly think that the reason why is that the actress that plays Snow White's a fucking bitch.
There are certain fundamental truths about this world which are so universal that anyone knows.
What did she say? For the life of me. Man. In an interview, she had the audacity to say what? All men should die? That all men are scum and they should be poisoned and wither on the floor, shitting themselves to death? Is that what she said? Not quite. It was that what if we reimagine the story that instead of it being about a woman being saved by a prince. It was a woman who had saved herself, and that anyone can do anything, regardless of who they are. She said, what? What? Are you fucking serious?
Real man would. You know you're
Yep.
about to hear some weapons-grade retardation. And to that not-so-illustrious list, we can add that the Snow White live-action remake was, without a doubt, one of the worst ideas in the whole history of entertainment. Possibly the most predictable of all failures, a project conceived for all the wrong reasons, starring all the wrong people, pushing all the wrong messages, and telling the entirely wrong story. After all the delays and the controversies and the speculation that have been swirling around it for what feels like decades now, it was actually kinda weird to finally sit down and just watch this thing, like meeting a celebrity after following their career for years.
That's the way I felt like with Assassin's Creed Shadows. Like, I actually finally got to play the game. I was like, it was bittersweet because I had farmed content about that game for years, or actually probably about a year at that point. And now that the game is out, it's like, you know that like this is the climax, right? It's like in Elden Ring when you know you're about to walk in, like you're in front of the golden tree, and it's like, fuck, this game's about to be over. Oh man, shit, bro.
I'm sorry your life is so hard. That sucks. Yeah, that really sucks. You know, 9/11 for dudes who don't know what soap is. It's just like, that's tragic. Years of farming outrage over the fact that it featured a character who happened to be black, and then the content production began. I mean, boom, the whole lucrative market to be had around that. I mean, you don't want to come across as just being blatantly racist, because that would be kind of weird, right? If you were getting offended at the fact that there's a character in the game who happens to be black and you don't want to play as a black guy, I mean, yeah, you would sound like a pretty intense racist that you're just unable to do that. No, what you got to do here is you do a little 4D chess and you say, the reason I don't want to play this game is I consider it to be insulting towards Japanese people, because the protagonist of the game happens to be a black samurai, when we know, because we're now all experts, apparently on feudal Japan, that he was not in fact a samurai. That he was in fact a historical figure. I will grant you, he did exist, but he didn't have the title of samurai as I've come to understand it. So it's insulting, and I'm going to find other reasons to be mad. Just give me time. We have to wait till clips come out and there's some more information. Okay, there's clips. Apparently, if you are a person who's playing a video game and you have a controller in your hands, you can manipulate what the character does. I know, for a professional gamer, that seems like a weird thing to call out, but if you manipulate your character to do a certain action, you can actually make your character destroy historical Japanese artifacts. And so effectively, what we have here is a game where a black man is running around killing and destroying the history of Japan and killing Japanese people. I'm going to do a reverse Uno racism on this one and say, would that not be exceptionally racist if we had a game where like a Japanese guy comes to, let's say, Brooklyn and then killed a bunch of black men? Would that not be racist if that was the point of the game? And it's like, we're just so far in the weeds now. Again, I'm not entirely sure what you're trying to. You're really bad at doing the identity politics. You're really bad at weaponizing all of this shit.
Of Snow White, I can confidently tell you that, yes, this film absolutely lived up to all my worst expectations, and in some cases even exceeded them.
Jesus.
A bloated, overstuffed turkey of a production, weighed down by hammy acting, cheap costumes, horrendous CGI.
So, I'll file the Snow White stuff under who cares? Who cares? Who cares? Who cares? Honestly, I feel really bad for Rachel Zegler, that the fact that, again, the most reasonable and innocuous take to have in order to promote a film that she did not write, like she didn't create this movie, she wasn't the director of it, she was hired to play a character. When playing the character that was written for her, and she was speaking to, again, the media, like every other actor does in this industry, she then sat there and was like, oh yeah, so it's pretty cool. Disney's actually going to be reimagining the character for the modern age. It's less about a damsel in distress being rescued by a prince, and more about the idea that anyone can basically, achieve whatever they want if they believe in themselves and want to defend themselves. And it's like, okay. And then now for that, you are forever going to be the next Brie Larson. You're going to be someone that is going to have literally thousands upon thousands upon thousands of videos made about you, about how you hate men. You are trying to accuse all men of sexism. You think that, the original story apparently isn't good enough, and that anyone who criticizes you is like a rapist, and that's where we're at now. And it's like, that's all it took. That's like... when you get your dream of being like, wow, I've been trying to work in a field that's almost impossible to get into, and like I got into a Star Wars film. This is incredible. It's like, well, kinda. Are you a woman? Oh yeah, that won't bode well. Are you a woman of color? Ew. Yeah. So, what character do you play? Do you play a character that traditionally was played by a white guy? Ooh, yeah, no. This is gonna be a nightmare, I'll be honest. I know it sounds like a dream. It sounds like, you know, back in the day, it'd be like, oh my god, I got cast in a Star Wars film. But like, unless you're cast in that film as basically, I don't know, a sex object, like you walk around in a bikini or something like that, people will not be happy. They're not going to be happy if you happen to be a Jedi. They're not going to be happy even if you play a villain. They want their villains to be, you know, traditional as well. So you can't play a Sith Lord. You can't play a Jedi. I mean, sexy princess? If you're a sexy princess, yeah, okay. But just be sure that if you're a sexy princess, when you speak to people on the media about this, that you actually just acknowledge that you're happy to be sexy princess. Not that you're going to try and like defy genres or tropes, or you're going to reimagine what sexy princess is supposed to be. Nah, you got to be in there and like, I was just really happy to once again play a sexy princess that everyone can be like, wow, she's hot. And then, you know, I'm happy to be a part of the project. And then maybe the entire fucking weird manosphere, you know, fucking industrial complex on the internet won't go after you. They went after Assassin's Creed, and I hate to be the one to tell you all of this, but they lost. They lost the war. They lost the battle. Woke won. So we did it, y'all. Wokeness won. We did it. The woke defeated the non-woke.
Mission complete.
And it doesn't feel like it, though. Even though this is probably the biggest victory in the history of woke ever. Not even the Great Wokening comes close to this, you know? But it feels bittersweet. For years, there was the non-stop outrage farming over this title, Assassin's Creed Shadows. And it just broke all the records. It's the fastest that 2 million players has been reached for any single Assassin's Creed game ever. It's selling internationally extremely well, including in Japan. Ubisoft has announced Assassin's Creed Shadows has surpassed 2 million players. This is the fastest that faster than Assassin's Creed Origins and Assassin's Creed Odyssey. This figure is up from 1 million players in less than 1 day. 2 million players, says Ubisoft. We're thrilled to celebrate this incredible milestone. Assassin's Creed Shadows has surpassed the launches of AC Origins and Odyssey. Thank you for joining us in this journey in feudal Japan. So it went woke, and it was immensely profitable. And we've had to listen to, again, all of the men children complain about how this game is going to suck because it doesn't adhere to history, which I was trying to tell people, like, none of their arguments make sense. First off, it's just 100% a matter of historical fact that this historical figure did exist. He originally was brought to feudal Japan as a slave and then climbed the ranks and then was given the honor and title of a samurai. And it's pretty cool that the story exists and it's being told. And, you know, as much as they tried to tell us that Japanese people were outraged by this, turns out they overwhelmingly weren't. Like, were there people in Japan who were? Of course. Are there people in any country? Like, no group of people is going to be a monolith. Are there people who were insulted at the fact that the main protagonist was not a Japanese male? Yes, there was. But was the overwhelming amount of people who were in that country complaining about that? No. Was it something that a lot of racist outrage farmers in the West were trying to turn into a controversy? Absolutely. Now that it's out, I mean, I'm sure you've all seen the viral clip of Asmongold, obviously having to be told by his fans and the people watching him that, like, come on, rip into it, talk about how shitty the game is. And he's like, yeah, it's kind of fun.
Bro, stop. We're gonna put you in timeout for like a day. There's no reason to be making comments like that. I'm gonna make this clear. If you're just coming here to get into this weird fucking race shit, about a historical figure that existed in Japanese history, I'm just going to remove you. And guess what? That means you ain't going to be around for Kazan or Night Rain or AI Limit or any of that shit. I don't give a fuck what your opinion is of this game. I don't care. Your opinion is worthless to me. The quality of health of my morning shit had a bigger impact on my thought process today than you being upset that there's a black guy in Assassin's Creed. So shut the fuck up. All right? We're not doing this shit. It's a fucking video game. If you are upset that there's a black guy in a video game, fuck off. I don't want you here. I don't care. Stop. I'm not doing this fucking argument. Every goddamn game these days. Oh, it's woke. Oh, there's a black guy. Oh, there's a trans person. Shut the fuck up. Either play the game or go the fuck outside, bro. It's not that hard. God damn. I've been on this earth 37 fucking years. When I was a kid, guess what? If a game came out and I didn't want to get involved with it, I didn't fucking play with it. I didn't go on the internet and cry like an entitled little child. Wah, 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 wah. The game doesn't have stuff that I want. So shut the fuck up and leave, bro. Are you that much of a fucking loser that you're seeking out streams of a game you don't like just to be like, wah, I don't like this. There's a black guy. Shut the fuck up. Nobody cares.
Eloquent, so well spoken, and fucking such a relief, and especially amazing that this went so viral because yeah, everyone is just so fucking tired and sick of this. You know, yet another good rant in relation to this entire phenomenon.
Back in my day, 20 years ago, the trolls were fucking goblins, bro. They were like, they knew that they were doing bad things and irritating people. And then when people got irritated, they typed "you mad" and they won. They got permit, but they understood that they were the villains. Now the trolls are like, does anybody else think that this person should be locked in a mental hospital? And then when someone's like, you have been permanently banned from the chat, they're like, I was just talking. You are my friend. Like, what, bro, go back to being a gremlin. Go back to being like a little demon in the wires instead of like, I was just asking questions. Disingenuous so-and-so.
And I'm glad that big streamers and famous video game players are just getting fucking sick of having to deal with this shit. Because, yeah, no shit. Every day. It's just like, I don't even know what the fake gamers are mad at anymore. All right? I saw Stuttering Craig play and upload the ending to Assassin's Creed credit sequence and being like, the credit sequence is 2 hours long. Here it is in its entirety. I kid you not. Look at this. And I'm like, I don't even know what you're mad at, bro. What are we mad at? The people who worked on it are posting their names? I know you've beaten a video game before. I know you've beaten at least 2. Sometimes, when it's a AAA game, and it has literally thousands of people who had to make it, the credits are very long. It's why these games have a function. This will blow your mind. You can skip the credits. You might miss out on a trophy. I don't want to take anyone's trophies away, so just so you know, you can actually get usually trophies sometimes for watching the credits. It's kind of a cute little thing they do. But if you don't want to watch the credits, you got another technique. This one's wild. You unplug it. You just pull the power cord out, or you walk away, and it won't hurt you anymore. You don't have to, oh my God, they're acknowledging the very people who worked on it. Look how many names there are. Do you see this shit? And honestly, like, I got people, because I got, Stuttering Craig, I think on that tweet, he got like fucking something insane, you know, like 19,000 likes. And I actually ratioed him. I don't know how, but I ratioed him with like, I don't even know what you fake gamers are mad at anymore. And that somehow ratioed him with like 23,000 likes. And like obviously I'm just flooded with all these comments of people like, fucking typical leftist soy cuck doesn't fucking realize that the reason this sucks is because so many people are involved. And I was like, well, then we have something else to discuss here then, don't we? Right? Like, I mean, isn't the problem then that these AAA video game companies and the way that they operate under capitalism is really, really shitty, and that they literally hire thousands of people, they pay them like shit, they don't let them unionize, they have to work terrible hours, they don't get to see their families, and then these greedy ass corporations make games that just flood you with loot boxes and DLC and all this other fucking bullshit. Yeah, that sucks. Well then, why don't we just talk about that instead of being like, because the game I don't like has a black man in it, I cannot abide by the fact that this was how many woke people had to orchestrate it. And you're just sitting there and you're like, you're mad at the credits, my dude? The skippable credits of a video game? This nightmare can end any day you want it. You don't have to go see Snow White. You don't have to pay money out of your pocket to go see a movie. You could just skip it altogether. You don't have to watch the Assassin's Creed credits. You could turn off your PlayStation or your Xbox. You could just turn off the TV. You don't have to live like this. Is the thing. And again, like, that's not enough though, right? Like, even if you're mad and you make fun of people who are effectively like that's why this rant is particularly interesting, because it's like, it used to be a thing for trolls that they would just drop into a chat and they try to, provoke. And then obviously when they got banned, that was the goal. And that was it. And they're like, haha, lol, another lord has been edged. And then they just return to whatever little, caves they came from in sub corners of 4chan. And then they get to post about, lol, just got blocked for fucking spreading the red pill bros. And that was their day. Whereas now, they're perpetually angry about things they don't get or understand and can't really wrap their heads around, but they know they're mad about it and they want everyone else to be on board. And so they just pollute every corner of the internet. They go seeking out other people who are enjoying something. If it's like, hey, someone is enjoying a thing, and it's like, I got to drop in here to be like, bro, how can you like this woke shit? Didn't you know that Yatsuke wasn't a real samurai, bro? Did you even study feudal Japan history, bro? And it's like, why are you doing this to yourselves, though? Honestly, is this making you healthier, happier, better? I feel like all of you have been brainwashed by very unhealthy men who do this for a living. Like, this is how they make cash. Like, this is how they pay their bills, is keeping all of you angry and upset at things that do not actually affect you. It's like, my life sucks. Why does your life suck? Because Yatsuke wasn't a real samurai in the feudal Japan. Did you care about this a year ago before the game was announced? Did you care about that? Did you care about the Snow White remake? Were you going to see it up until the point where you were told that the actress who plays Snow White, Rachel Zegler, apparently she's anti man. She disparages menfolk, and she's a misandrist, and she said that men suck or something. I can't even remember what she originally said, because at this point we're so far away from the original quote, but I know for a fact she's a man hater, and we have to hate her now and be mad about that and go from fucking community to people who are just trying to enjoy their lives and enjoy the comfort of watching their favorite streamers also enjoy a thing that they like, and then pop in there and make everyone stay wretched by trying to make everyone as wretched as they are. Like, this is the real virus. It's not a woke mind virus, all right? It's a gremlin virus. Like, it is just spread to all these people becoming goblins in real time who all want to make everyone else as miserable as they are. And it's like, I get it. Maybe you found Asmongold, or you found one of these people because originally you were sad about something and you were mad. Did you get dumped? Were you broken up? Did a woman reject you or something like that? And you're like, fuck, women suck, because you're sad about that moment in your life. And you went online and you found other people who spend all day talking about how women are evil and bad and we have to destroy them and all this shit. And now they also came with a lot of other baggage. Now you also have to hate a black video game character for some reason and be mad about that and use their defense and cover. I'm not mad because I'm a racist. I'm mad because of the actual historical accuracy of feudal Japan. No, what are you actually mad at? Who are you mad at? Why are you doing this? Of all the things in your life, this will not bring you happiness, you know? I think we need to turn off the internet for a bit. I think we need to, honestly, call these fucking weirdos out and genuinely, it's not the individuals, honestly, because like there's going to be millions of Asmongold fans who then when Asmongold stops streaming, go to other corners of the internet to do this shit and pop into other people's feeds and just start being like, actually, I don't know if you heard about this, but Yatsuke was not in fact an actual samurai. If you go to the Wikipedia article, it says he was first an apprentice, and actually this title is only able to be given to naturally born Japanese men, so this cannot be a title that he officially earned. And it's like, that's what you're going to be spending the rest of your day doing. doing. Whereas, like, I'll be honest with you, then you know, fuck Asmongold and fuck every other person who is just spreading this shit and then just thinking that it has absolutely no consequence, and then doing the reversal. That's the other part, is the reversal. At the end of all of this is that Super Mario is the wokest film of the year. It has a girl boss. Princess Peach apparently is promoting feminism. We have to destroy this film. It's once again pushing woke culture upon us, indoctrinating us with the SJW Jews from Bridge DEI. I can't even remember what I'm mad at, but something involving CRT, and my mom doesn't talk to me anymore. But either way, I'm upset, and I know I'm upset, and I gotta be mad about this. Oh shit, Super Mario Brothers movie is actually a worldwide box office phenomenon. Okay, well, that's because it's not woke. It wasn't actually woke. It actually is just giving people what they wanted, which was a character-driven story that involved the original characters that everyone loves, and it wasn't preachy, and it didn't try to do race swaps, and it didn't try to do empowerment of women, and that's why it's good, and that's why it's anti-woke, and that's why we love it. And maybe the same thing will start happening now to this game. But I do like this too. Legendary Japanese developer says, normal people don't care about Assassin's Creed Shadows controversies. Bayonetta creator Hideki Kamiya has defended Assassin's Creed Shadows, believing the game has received a lot of hate from a few super intense people. Assassin's Creed Shadows launch has been far from smooth. Since its release, it's been criticized for the inclusion of Yatsuke romance options. Oh, I forgot about that. That was another thing that all these fucking goblins were upset about, that they were all just like, oh yeah, apparently it's promoting homosexuality upon us. Apparently, yeah, your character, if you so choose to, can have same-sex romances. Apparently your character can be engaged in lesbianism. The lesbians! And it's like, when did Mass Effect come out? The Mass Effect could do all of that. All of them could. There's 3 of them. There's a trilogy of Mass Effect games. They were massively popular video games, and I don't remember anyone being upset about the fact that if you wanted to, you didn't have to, but if you wanted to, you could be gay. If you wanted to. But if you didn't want to see that shit, you didn't have to. Power to the player, am I right? If you want to engage in, once again, a story in which there's no romance, you can do that. Or if you want to have yourself a heterosexual relationship, or even one involving aliens, you and some alien creature that does not exist on the earth as we know it, you could have that too. The power to the player. Go out and play it. And no one was sitting there and be like, this is the woke indoctrination, and they're trying to teach us about the gay and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, but you could choose not to do that. You don't have to be gay in the game. You know, apparently in Baldur's Gate 3, there is so much like hypersexual scenes if you want to. If you want, like, you can literally engage in bestiality in that video game. But there wasn't a lot of outrage because that game was a best-selling game. It was considered one of the greatest video games of that era. It was the, you know, the game that won all the Game of the Year awards, all this kind of shit, all of it. And it was like just not something that they had initially decided they were going to target. Like they're going to go after this because it's woke indoctrination. But you could have tons of gay sex in that game if you wanted to. Tons of lesbian sex in that game if you wanted to. You could be in fucking pansexual polyamorous relationships and they would show it. You would see shit. You would see fucking the actual sex. You could fuck a bear. Apparently. I haven't played the game, but that's what one of the internet memes is. And like, there wasn't this outrageous, like, oh my god, I can't believe that this game is indoctrinating us with the heterosexual cancel culture, that now we have to be promoting sex between homosexuals in the video, blah, 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 you know? And then once again, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, so you're mad because there's the inclusion of a historical figure that actually existed, the ability for you so choose to be gay, and the ability to vandalize shrines. A thing that I have yet to hear a single one of these outrage peddlers be mad about in any other context. Like, I love that viral response that, like, the Doom development team made to someone who was like, when you play a video game, you literally are the one who controls the controller and decide what the character does. If you don't want to destroy shrines in the video game, you don't have to. Again, but yeah, sure. Outrage farm until they just remove that ability altogether in order to appease your outrage.
Don't let this happen to you. Go to serfscoffee.com to order the only end-to-end owned indigenous coffee company that delivers blood-free, conflict-free, and cruelty-free beans right to your door. 0% of people who drink serfscoffee.com have exploded spontaneously. By ordering right now, you get 10% off plus free shipping, and it's the best way to enjoy delicious coffee while not exploding. That's serfscoffee.com, serfscoffee.com.
Thank you so much for watching, everyone. This video wouldn't be at all possible without the financial support of all the people whose names you see on the screen right now. And if you want to unlock secret bonus episodes, content that we can't post anywhere else, or get the videos early before anyone else gets to see them, please go on to patreon.com/theserfs. For as little as $1, you can help support this channel and help make more videos like this possible. Our executive producers are Anna Loves Riley, Adrian McCarthy, Bobby Lasers, Cheryl Alvarez, Comrade Junkie, Doug Caddy, Everything Important, Garrett Sandoval, Hagbard Celine, Jimmy Sombrero, Multimondi, Omni, Political Papi, Preston Kroll, Quiet 185, Richard Boehm, Riley and Anna, Roller Dragon, Cernicus, Stellar Gwyn, Sebastian Demel, Tigwig, Trav, and Words Greenwood. And also, it wouldn't be possible without all the names you see on the screen right now. Again, if you want to help produce this content, it's only made possible through the funding of our patrons. Head on down to patreon.com/theserfs. That's patreon.com/theserfs.